Welcome, marketologists. Today, we're going to switch it a little bit from marketing, and we're going to talk about things that can help your marketing, which is called productivity. And we're going to talk about what Deb says, there's not enough time in the day, but there really is. She's going to show us how there's enough time in the day and how to be more productive. Deb, thanks for coming on the show to talk about productivity.
Well, thank you for having me. I am thrilled to be here. So thanks for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit about how you were able to crack the code when it comes to being more productive and having better time management.
Well, I'm not sure that I cracked the code per se. I did a bit of digging, of course. I do believe that productivity is working on the right things at the right time. So starting with that notion, I had to craft something that would work for me.
Okay.
I can use their strategies a dime a dozen, productivity experts galore, time management tips and hacks and productivity hacks. And they're all out there waiting for us to use them. Mm-hmm. But we have to find the right ones that work with our brain, that match our work style, that when we test them and they prove to us they can work, then those are the ones that we include in our morning or afternoon or daily routines. So productivity shouldn't be a cookie cutter experience for each of us. So for me, it could be a timer, the Pomodoro technique, a glass of water, and coffee.
Wow.
That could be my routine. But some days that routine will not work. For some projects, that routine will not work. And I need to switch it up. So I have to have a group of strategies and techniques and tools that I can reach into that bag so that whatever the day serves up, it serves me well. And so I don't want anyone listening to say, oh, Deb has the answer. It is exactly this, A plus B equals C. Maybe, sometimes, it depends. It depends. And so we need to think of what's our goal and how do we craft a strategy or routine or workflow? You'll hear that word used a lot. How do we craft one that works for us so that, me in particular, you in particular, not for the masses. It's out there, but it takes effort, just like marketing takes effort. It's not this overnight success. It's sort of it drips along, then we take a large leap. Sometimes things sort of fall into place and then we keep going. And so we think of productivity as this sustained marathon, not a quick sprint. There are days we only have 10 minutes or 30 minutes and we need that quick activity. Yes. But generally what I'm asking people to do is to create a routine, a tried and true, this works for me routine. And here are the tools I'm inserting into that routine that help me get from point A to point B. So I don't have all the answers, but I know what can work. So yeah.
You stated routine. I've heard routine a lot. There's a lot of YouTube videos with millionaire routines and such and so forth. And like you said, it's what works for you. That is a hard thing to figure out. I mean, when we're so conditioned, I think, to say we're going to do the status quo, we're doing what everybody else is doing, it's kind of hard to figure out what is it that works for me. I know some people that, like a friend of mine, shout out to Nate. His routine is to get up at 2 a.m. and to literally work from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. And that's his work hours. Now, the rest of the day he's working, but it's not on his core task or project.
Okay.
And that, I don't know if that routine worked for me. I might could do it one day, but But that's his routine, and you stating that once you figure out your routine, you basically modify the routine and perfect the routine, and that helps you be more productive versus just taking something off of a shelf and saying,
Right.
From 10 to 2, I check this and I do this, and basically a cookie cutter template.
Now, checking things off of the list might make your brain very happy.
Okay.
And if checking something off of the list does that, do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay.
Do it. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Okay.
We can enhance, we can add to it, but it doesn't have to be boring. It does it. So let's think about this. So if we want to get something done, there has to be some kind of fun factor built in. There has to be something that is motivating you, a reward at the end of the tunnel, a thing.
Okay.
I'm going to slog through this proposal. I really don't want to do it. It's 10 pages long. But if I do it and I hit send on that email, then I'm going to do X. That's my reward, the thing for getting it done. So as much as we can build those things in, it's important. So there isn't any right or wrong way. If the quote unquote boring strategies, check it off the list, time block, from 10 to 11, I do this. And then from 11 to 11:15, I take a break and I drink water. And if you need to schedule it out and do all of those things and it helps move the needle, do it. But if that isn't working, then don't try to fit a round, peg into a square hole.
Okay.
Adjust it so that it works for you. So there is no right or wrong. There is what is right for you.
Okay.
It will take time because it means testing. So in marketing, we test strategies. There's A/B testing. When we're sending out an email newsletter, we A/B test the headline, the subject line. What's going to grab this person to open it? So we send out the same email with 2 different subject lines to see which one gets the most opens. And then we start tweaking and adjusting. It's the same thing with productivity strategies and routines and habits that we're trying to cultivate. This is not a quick fix. This is not, it's a diet pill of the month, flavor of the month kind of thing. It's not that. It is, what is it? What are the mechanisms? What are the specific things that help Debbie or Jeff or whomever is out there listening and watching? What are those things that help me advance my projects? Not just advance, not just start, but finish those projects as well. We can start lots of things.
Yes.
And then we get excited about the next thing. And then we leave the original thing back here. And then we start something new without ever finishing. So where are the pitfalls for us? We know ourselves the best. I know that I'm a morning person. I'm not going to get up at 2 a.m. So Nate, more power to you.
I'm telling you, Deb, it works. It works.
I'm sure it works for you, Nate. And I tip my hat to you, but I am not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I'm an early riser, not a 2 a.m. riser, but I get up at 5 or 5:30, and I do that on most mornings. Sleeping in would be 5:45.
Oh, wow.
Right. I am an early riser, but that also means that when 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon rolls around, my energy is now lower than it was at 5 in the morning. So when I'm scheduling my really important deep work projects where I need to be focused and uninterrupted, those are going to be at the top half of my day.
Okay.
The rest of it is going to be later. A conversation, a quick, let me review what's coming up tomorrow kind of activity versus deep thinking, brain cells have to be firing on all cylinders kind of work. That will not happen in the afternoon. It's just not for me. But for some people, they're a night owl. They start revving up at like 10 p.m. and they can go till 5 or 3 or 2 in the morning. So knowing yourself is really, really important. Scheduling those important tasks when the energy is high and you have your favorite productivity beverage. For me, that is coffee. A latte will do me just fine. And then water, building in breaks, that kind of thing. So knowing yourself and using the strategies that work for you and your brain are really crucial. And yes, it does take some time to figure out. It is not as simple as do X and Y and all will be well with the world. There's some testing to be done.
Now, do you have any type of techniques when you're doing the testing, like documentation? Some people, I guess, you write in a journal,
Yeah.
or is it like a software, or I mean, how do you, especially when you start doing the day-to-day operations and it just
Yes.
starts to all blend together?
Oh yeah.
How do you
Yes.
like say, okay, this worked, check that off,
Yep.
and continue on?
So for some people, that will be a notebook or a journal or a planner,
Hmm.
paper document. I like writing on paper too.
Hmm.
Pen. I love technology, but I like to write notes. There are studies that have been done that say the act of writing, when you write something down, it
Yeah.
sticks in
Hmm.
your head, and you remember it, and it stays with you a bit longer than just typing it out or texting it out into an
Hmm.
app. That being said, if you don't have that paper with you and you need to refer back to it, you are lost.
Okay.
So using an app can really, really be helpful, but it doesn't mean that you can't write. So I will write my notes. I wrote a few things back, before we started recording.
Hmm.
And when we are finished, I will take a picture of this and I will send it to Evernote.
Okay.
And I will be able to recall that note very quickly, because Evernote you can do search of text inside of images, inside of
Oh,
PDF.
really?
Oh yeah. So Evernote has a really powerful search engine. So I can still write. I'm not trying to fix Debbie and make her over.
Hmm.
I'm trying to work with what Debbie already has and what Trudy likes. She likes a really nice pen and she likes paper. She also likes technology. So she's going to put them together,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I'm going to still handwrite. And then when I'm done, take a picture and
Hmm.
send it to a notebook inside of Evernote. For some people, that might be OneNote. Maybe it's a sticky note. On a lot of these new machines, you have a sticky notes app. Some
Yeah.
people like to do that. So I would just recommend that whatever you choose to do, choose one storage location.
Okay.
So I wouldn't, sometimes save it on your hard drive and then sometimes put it in Dropbox and then sometimes put it in Evernote, because then you're going to run around in circles trying to find what you're looking for. You're not going to be aware or sure where to go. So
Okay.
pick one primary location
Hmm.
and put all of those ideas and thoughts. And if you're tracking your time,
Hmm.
put it all in the same place. I have a time tracking worksheet, and it
Okay.
does mean I'm tracking what happens at 8, 8:30, 9, throughout the day. When did I get interrupted? Was it by a person? Was it a self interruption? Did I say, oh, I'll just go onto Facebook for 2 minutes? I
Okay.
need to get to my Facebook page and reply to comments. And then, 2 hours later, I'm still there. Is that what happened? Where
Yes.
does the time really go?
Okay.
Sometimes we don't know where the time has gone. And so tracking your time is super important to figuring out, getting some baseline data. Like,
Hmm.
okay, morning time is my peak time. And then in my afternoon slump, I am getting up all the time, or I'm always on social media, or I allow every interruption to take my focus away. How
Okay.
do we handle that? Now, what do we do? So the data doesn't lie, right?
Yeah.
Data within context gives you a lot of information that you can work with to make the right adjustments and changes. So yes, write down things as they come up, or use a tool like Evernote or OneNote, or I think Google Keep is another one that people sometimes use.
Okay.
Figure out a way to track your ideas, your thoughts, the data that you're gathering,
Hmm.
but don't sit on that data. Do something with it.
Okay. So they say 21 days, I think, creates habits. How long
Mm.
with documenting have you seen with your clients that, you know, they document and after, let's say, 2 weeks, they start seeing some progress, or they start, of course, when they're actually acting upon it. But,
Yeah.
you know, how long usually is that documentation process from beginning to end?
I don't think the documentation process ever stops.
Okay.
What you are documenting may be different at
Okay.
each stage. So if it is time tracking, maybe we're tracking initially for a week, 5 to 7 business days. We're looking at where the time actually goes.
Hmm.
And then we are crafting a workflow around, okay, how do we fix whatever holes there may be, or fix the moments when the energy is low or not as high as we need it to be. And
Okay.
once we get that under our belt, and that takes some consistent day in, day out commitment
Hmm.
to using strategies and tools every
Hmm.
day. so that we can now, it can feel more like, a routine, like brushing your teeth or washing your face. We do it without thinking about it. We're
Yes.
not thinking about, oh, now we turn on the water, now we get the soap. We don't think about it like that. We do it. And so once it starts to become more intuitive, we may not have to continue tracking our time.
Okay.
But now we are in a flow, if you will, in a work mode where it is working for us. But documentation doesn't ever stop because ideas come to us all the time.
Okay.
New business strategies. Perhaps there is a tweak you want to make, and we still have to document and record and refer back to something. So it's important to have a tool that works for you so that you can do that. This is not a one and done. It is a sustained habit that we're trying to cultivate and keep going. We don't want to just say, okay, well, productivity is over, I'm finished.
Okay.
That never happens.
I can't check the box, man.
Okay. You can check the box when you feel you have reached as far as you can go. You can't go anymore. I dare say there isn't one of us who thinks that we can't go anymore, grow anymore, learn anymore, do anymore.
Yeah.
So you can check the box when there's no more to be done. When it's all done, you've mastered it all. It's ingrained. It's through every fiber of your being. Check the box.
So speaking of checking the box, how do you get out of, like, one thing that I've struggled with, and now I know the interview that went personal. No, it's not the interview that now went personal. But one thing I struggle with is I'll spend an entire, let's say, day listing out tasks. And then I'll spend the rest of my days just going through the task, and it's mindlessly going through the task. Now, it's one thing that you mentioned that's very, very interesting, and I'm taking away from this, is that having a reward. So you're literally just going through this list and saying, okay, check Facebook, check emails, check, and you're going line by line and checking off everything. And then at the end of the day, yeah, you've got a lot of things checked, but you just don't feel like you really accomplished anything. Or even worse, you're tasking out your team, but you are now passing on that culture of just checking the box. So they're just doing what you told them to do and just checking the box. It's no like excitement. It's no no reasoning, in a sense, for lack of a better word. You're just doing it because it's something on the list.
Yes.
How do you like change your way of or approach to that?
There has to be an overarching goal that is driving you. There is a purpose. Some people call it vision or a mission. There is something that is at the end of that tunnel, that light. There is something that is drawing you there. So there has to be some core beliefs, core tenets that you are working towards that's part of your culture. And at the top of this conversation, I talked about productivity being working on the right things at the right time. Checking things off of a list isn't necessarily productivity. Working on the right things at the right time is. So it's a shift in mindset. I, like everybody else, I love seeing a list of things that I have crossed off. It makes me feel as though I've gotten some things done. But there are days when you may be working on something as your procrastination activity because you don't want to do the real hard work over here. It's a great activity to work on. Maybe you are organizing your desk. You need to organize your main workspace so you can be ready to work. But then you're organizing and cleaning and clearing for 2 hours. And the real work has yet to begin. Right?
I wash dishes. I'm like, let me go wash the dishes. And
if you work from home, this is totally something that will happen. Dishes will call you. Laundry will call you. Every little thing that you never noticed before, you will now notice, and you will make a point of saying, I really need to keep this house a lot cleaner. And the priority project is back there sort of languishing, not getting any attention. So be real and be honest with yourself. If you're not trying to create a culture of, people who just check things off of a list,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to be more purposeful, it needs to be tied into some big hairy goal or mission, vision, something that is driving your company other than check it off the list. Let's make as much money as we can.
Okay.
There has to be something else that is there, because it's harder to sustain, let's keep checking off lists, when it's not tied into emotions and buy-in, not
Okay.
just from yourself, but also from your team. And so understanding that level of sort of, this is the core feature, core function, core value of
Mm-hmm.
my company, and then building that in is really important, and knowing what the priorities are. Now, some priorities are time bound.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deadline you have to meet. There's no way around that.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you put it on your calendar, the date of delivery, and then
Okay.
you walk yourself back and you
Mm-hmm.
start planning out each milestone until every step, until you can get to delivery day.
Okay.
Right? So that needs to happen, period. But then there are other things, right, that might not necessarily, that come up. These are these ideas that we get. I work with a lot of creatives. They're working on their deep work, and then all of these amazing, beautiful, great ideas start popping into their brain, and it's calling them away from the deep work. It's
Okay.
not that the brand new idea isn't fabulous and worthy of time, just not right now.
Okay.
Right? So those tools we talked about earlier can be a way to capture them.
Mm-hmm.
And why not use those, those things that would normally distract you, use them as your reward. So
Okay.
when I am finished 500 words of writing this blog post, when I have finished outlining my next 3 newsletters, when I have done that, when those things are complete, then I can have my reward. And it could be that distracting thing that was pulling my attention earlier in the day.
I don't think washing the dishes is a reward for me.
Okay, now that's just running away. That's not a reward. That is flight. That is, let me get away from the things I must do. And
Yeah.
that sometimes you sort of need to talk yourself through. Okay, if it really is about washing dishes, if it really is, I can't stand to see dishes in the sink. Okay, when I have completed 30 minutes of X, I will get up and I will take care of those dishes. If it really bothers you that much. And
Yeah.
if dishes are the procrastinating activity, then we have to figure out why you are procrastinating. What is it about the project you need to be working on that is stopping you from working on it? Does it
Yeah.
seem too hard? Do you not have all the information you need? Do you need help? Are there parts of it that need to be delegated? Are you waiting for someone else to send you something so that you can finish?
Yeah.
What is it? And what part can you do right now?
Yeah. I think that's really, really it. I mean, because a lot of times um, I've noticed that procrastination is a tricky adversary.
Oh, yeah.
You can work on client stuff all day. You can work on other people's stuff all day, and then when it's something that's
There you
supposedly
go.
close to you,
Yes.
now it becomes, well, I need to do this or that, or I'm distracted.
Yeah,
Um, I'm frustrated, but I think it's because it's so close to you, where
probably.
everything else is just mind-numbing work and
Or you
just
can do it later. You think,
yeah,
I'll just do it later.
yeah, yeah.
So treat yourself as a client. Book time for yourself on your calendar. Pick a day, Monday or Friday or Wednesday. Pick a day, any day. The day that you think, you know what, this is going to be my admin day. This is
Hmm.
the day not to meet with clients. Keep in mind, if you're always meeting with a client, that means you can't work on your business. You're always in your business.
That's
Right?
true. Yeah.
Right? So pick a day that's going to be your admin day. Start
Hmm.
small. Pick an hour. Pick one day and grab 1 hour out of that day, and that's going to be your admin hour, your power hour.
Okay.
For you to work on aspects of your business. And then all the other hours can be in it.
Okay.
And then over time, increase that hour to maybe 4, half a day.
Okay.
So maybe it's Friday afternoons, Monday mornings. I don't like Monday morning meetings, so I never schedule a meeting on a Monday if I can avoid it. Um, but I kind of like Fridays too, because it's right before the weekend. I get
Uh-huh.
to reset and I get to do the things on the business
Okay.
versus in it. So schedule time for yourself. Pretend you're a client. In fact, a VIP client. Because without those things, I dare say that you're going to be able to serve your clients as well as you could. So schedule time for yourself.
Good point. Good.
Yes.
So for everybody, she's already given so much that I need to go ahead and allow you to find out how you can get in touch with her and help being more productive. Because I mean, honestly, from the routines to the writing it down to scheduling an hour for yourself, so many gems have been given just in this short period of time that I know that you're looking to figure out how you can be more productive and not just spending more time. I mean, that's I like the way you said that spending time isn't being productive, because a lot of times I think we think, oh, well, we've done all these things, we checked all these boxes, we're productive, and it really isn't getting anything, moving the needle. It isn't getting anything done. So share with us, how can somebody get in touch with you and help them find what works for them?
So I can be found at dallisonlee.com and everywhere on social media at dallisonlee.
Okay. That's easy enough.
Yes.
Good branding as well. So yes, branding. So anybody that needs to be more productive, reach out. I'm sure Deb can help you. She has a wonderful website, and a lot of good information there. And she can help you figure out how to get out your own way.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. Sometimes we just stand in our own way. We just need a guide who can help us sort of see the path a bit more clearly and help you get out of your way.
Yes. And Deb said to get up at 2 a.m.
No, I did not. So not. No. Please. All right. So not unless you want to. Not unless you want to. There is a strategy I learned about recently. I forget the name of it, but it's basically building resiliency by starting your morning with a very cold shower.
Oh.
It sort of wakes up the vagus nerves. It helps you to sort of build, I feel cold just saying it, helps you to build resiliency. If waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning, or if taking a cold shower every day before you start your day sounds appealing and you think it would work, I encourage you to do it. If not, if you're like me and you think those two things are just not it, then I also encourage you to find what would work. So there's no right or wrong, just what's right or wrong for you.
And that is perfect. Perfect end note. That's going to be a quotable. We need to figure out how to make that audiogram and put that in the audio.
Oh, please do.
Because that's going to be great. So everybody, thanks for coming on. And if you have any questions, as always, put it in the comments and we'll make sure to figure out how to get you pointed in the right direction. Look forward to seeing you at the next marketing strategy session. And we are signing off.
Bye, everybody.